Hello, folks. I'm an idiot. I forgot to click the little go live button. I'm still getting used to OBS, and I'm still a boomer. I do apologize. I should be live now. Just conferring with my lovely assistant, Stormy.
You're live.
Okay, excellent. So, as I didn't get to say, actually, to the crowd, hi, good to see you. As you can tell from the thumbnail, I will be doing some political ideology determination tests. I'm going to start with the political compass. I'll go through that fairly quickly. But before I do that, I have two things I want to do. First, I want to thank Stormy for bringing me a coffee, because she's a good girl, and I don't care what anybody says, especially me. And I'm catching a finger from across the room. I do love that woman very much. She suits me perfectly. So here's the thumbnail again. Now, I will point out, these symbols that I grabbed, I just threw them randomly at the political compass blank, just for fun. I do... Hi, Bezic. Oh, good God, not only did I screw up the buttons, but I see a terrible, terrible spelling error in my initial message. And that's absolutely horrible for someone who does freelance proofreading. But as I was saying, I just kind of whipped these symbols at the graphic. I was in a hurry to get the thumbnail together. But I'm pretty sure I put the communist and fascist symbols more or less where they belong. I'm fairly certain about the anarchy one, and I think the libertarian one could kind of almost be on the axis rather than be one side or the other. And the greens I just threw out there for shits and giggles. So, let me see here. Okay, so as I did say, I'm going to start with a quick article, and I know the opinion of a lot of people is that the political compass test is garbage, and I do tend to agree. That said, I think that, like this little byline says, in theory it's a decent but flawed idea, and I agree. Let me see here. The quiz does not allow neutrality. That's a problem. It also doesn't let you say you simply don't care. And I do agree with this. Many of the questions are somewhat loaded or completely irrelevant. Hello, Primed. Hello, Marku. Good to see you guys. I hope you're having a good Sunday. So let's get into this little bit of silliness. So I will bring my face back, and we will do my political compass real fast. And take the test. Oh, piss off ads. There we go. Before taking the test, please note that this isn't a survey. Okay. If economic globalization is inevitable, I don't believe it is, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. And again, we run into the loaded problem and the I don't give a shit problem. But if it's going to be inevitable, it should serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. I strongly agree. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. I strongly disagree with that, and anyone who knows me knows I'm Canadian, and that's why. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. I strongly disagree with that. I think patriotism is very important. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Nah, this one's spicy. I'm just going to agree. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I will agree lightly, but... You know, it's kind of like the manosphere and the feminists kind of agree on some things, but really we're fundamentally enemies. That sort of idea. Which is why it's only a lightly agree. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. I would strongly agree with that. Sometimes you just have to go put a warhead on a forehead. To quote my friend, I shouldn't say my friend, one of my YouTube follows, one of the guys I follow on YouTube, the Fat Electrician. Yeah, sometimes you have to put warheads on foreheads. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Well, given that I'm kind of in that space, I agree. Page 2, now the economy. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. I strongly agree with this. I think class is probably a much larger divider than... nationality when it comes to people agreeing or disagreeing. Okay, so I've got some feedback in chat here. Bezic says the greens belong in the far top left of that chart. Okay, that makes sense. Prime Knight is wondering if anyone is Scottish. I'm sure the Scots would probably agree with my stance about not always supporting your country. Let's see. Bezic, the only thing that should be that loaded is a baked potato. I hear you, brother. Okay. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. I will lightly agree with that, though I'm no economics expert. I'm actually going to take a moment to think about this one. I think if you control inflation, it brings the costs of things down, makes it easier for people to employ other people. So, yeah, if you tackle the root issue, you end up dealing with the symptoms. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. I agree. And the reason I agree is because Norfolk Southern is a thing. From each according to his ability to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. It used to be that I would strongly agree with this. However, now that I know that this is actually a communist maxim, I strongly disagree. Mostly because if you're taking from somebody to give to somebody else, that's just straight up wrong. That's not charity. That's the state interceding to remove your property to give it to someone else. Fuck no. The freer the market, the freer the people. I will lightly agree, because at a certain point, you end up with corporate hegemony or corporate tyranny. Kind of like when, if you happen to see Woody Harrelson's monologue, Spoon just did a video about it from last night's Saturday Night Live, where he's talking about this movie idea where the drug cartels get together and force people to lock down through coercion of government, or what's that other word starts with? Well, cooperation, but it's not exactly the word I'm looking for. Cooperation with governments to force people to lock down until they take a specific drug. But as Woody Harrelson said, no one would ever buy that. Right? Yeah, nobody'd ever buy that idea. Anyway, back we go. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product. I strongly disagree. And the reason I strongly disagree is because if you live in a place where there is a surplus of any resource that you can afford to collect and monetize, I think you should have the right to do that. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. I strongly disagree with that. Private property is a thing. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. I actually agree with this. How strongly I agree with it, though, I'll go light for this one. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. I strongly agree. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. Strongly agree. The rich are too highly taxed. I strongly agree with this. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards. Oh, fuck yeah. Can you tell I live in a universal healthcare country? Governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public. I strongly agree with this. If a business lies to the public, like for instance saying that a treatment is perfectly safe, they shouldn't collaborate with those companies. They should actively fight them. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. I'll lightly agree. Next page. And back to chat real quickly. And kill that for just a moment. Let's see here. Prime Knight says there should be no forces hindering social mobility. I agree. I'm asking because Laserpig had a podcast and he claims in that Dank is part of the Scottish Libertarian Party that want to lower age of consent. I posted the video in the video tab on Discord. I can't see Dank thinking lowering the age of consent is good, especially after having a young daughter not too recently. Or just recently. Or relatively recently, I guess. Yeah, there's a bit of a problem with some of the libertarian movements that they want to lower the age of consent for things. Competitive market sounds better. Competitions have rules. True. Marku. I think I remember Dank tweeting a picture of his Libertarian Party membership card a few years back. I do believe Dank is a Libertarian member. That is concerning if true, but you don't have to believe everything a party says to be part of that party. Though it helps. Let's see. Sasquatch says, hello, brethren. Hello, Sasquatch. Bezic, it is a case of just being a member of a party with some dumb people. True. Okay, so back to the political compass. I'm trying to go through this fairly quick because I actually have 4 or 5 of these tagged up. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Just a little interesting side note. Oh, wrong button. One of these days, I swear, I'll stop boomering. I did a different test. I think it was I side with, which I'll probably do next. And I did it for Brazil, just for the sake of seeing how closely I align with Jair Bolsonaro. Turns out I'm pretty much right there with him. The first result I got was for the, what is that called? It's abbreviated to Patri. I don't know if it was Patriota or something of that nature, but it was basically a nationalist party for conservative protection of the market, things like that. So, yeah, I think I figure out pretty easily where my political leanings tend to fall. Personal social values. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. I strongly disagree. But I strongly disagree because that's a very blanket statement, and there are some exceptions. All authority should be questioned. Absolutely. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I agree lightly, because too much retribution just leads to vendetta and feud and bogs down in uselessness. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Strongly agree. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Strongly disagree. I think it's good for children to learn to be disciplined. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. How are you defining kind? Is it culture? Is it race? I will disagree lightly on that one. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. I strongly agree. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. I agree, but I don't strongly agree. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. I strongly agree. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. I strongly disagree. If you are not teaching your children to be critical thinkers in schooling, you are not equipping them for the future. You are equipping them for servitude, essentially. Now, to be fair, there should be a practical application to whatever course they decide to follow. So if they're doing underwater feminist basket weaving, not really a lot of call for that. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. I'm not particularly fond of eugenics, so I'm going to disagree. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. I strongly disagree. I think the most important thing for children to learn is to think for themselves. There are no savage and fuck off. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. I strongly agree. And that's this one right here. That's service equals citizenship right there. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Here's the funny thing. A guy will generally answer agree, and I can expect a woman would probably answer disagree. Yes, no? Yeah. First-generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. I would say I strongly agree with that. Even though and I'll bring my face back for just a second, even though I'm a trans-Texan, I do not believe that were I to immigrate to Texas now, I would ever actually be able to fully integrate. I think what I would end up with would be very close. I mean, I share many of the values that the American Constitution is founded on. And I think that Texan society would probably be fairly welcoming, not in the urban areas, but in the rural, certainly. And I think I would fit in quite well. Let's see, what am I looking at here in chat? Is it a case of just being a member of a party? That's a good question, Bezic. Sasquatch is asking me about character generator for Twitter. I'm not sure what that is. Moving back to the quiz. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. Oh, God, no. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Strongly agree. We've seen what happens when you allow government to have any sort of... when you allow government to fund media in any way. And we're seeing it very clearly here in Canada. Wider society. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Strongly agree. Then they're being curbed in the name of public safety in general. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it allows all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. It avoids, all the arguments. That is a significant advantage of a one-party state. But I still disagree, because fuck the one-party state. Actually, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, I do tend towards monarchy. I'm going to agree. But lightly agree. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need... Yeah, no, if you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to worry about, fuck off. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Abso-fucking-lutely. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. I strongly agree. Hierarchy is important. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Trim, you're going to love this one. Strongly agree. I don't think it's art. By and large, I don't think it should be considered particularly artistic, so much as hobby/craft level. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. I disagree. But I disagree lightly. Punishment is important, don't get me wrong. But if you can rehabilitate someone, it's far better to have them re-enter society as a productive person. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. I strongly agree. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. No, I strongly disagree with that. Culture matters. And it's not the businessman or the manufacturer who builds your culture. It's the writer and the artist. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. I strongly agree. And I just got grumped at from across the room. You want to talk about that later?
Yeah.
Okay. So, apparently Stormy and I are going to have a discussion about that answer later.
I'm going to
win. She already thinks she's going to win. Poor thing. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. That's a very weirdly worded question there. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. Well, see, this is just straight up anti-corporatism. And it reveals the political agenda of the person who wrote the question. So I will disagree, but only lightly. Making peace with the establishment. No, fuck off. Never make peace with the establishment. Question authority and never, ever give an inch. Astrology accurately explains many things. Good God, no. You cannot be moral without being religious. Not true. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. I tend to agree. Some people are naturally unlucky. I disagree. I don't believe in luck that strongly. It is important that my child's school instills religious values. Not for me. And finally, a look at sex. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. I will agree to a point. Actually, no, I disagree. I don't think it's necessarily immoral. But it's questionable. I honestly think, and this is where my traditionalism kind of comes to the fore a little bit, I think it might not be a bad idea to kind of re-inculcate the idea that you shouldn't have sex outside marriage. Or at the very least outside of a strongly committed relationship. Shooting back to chat briefly. Primed, unless you blind your enemy first and then use them. Well, fair. Prime says I would functionally integrate, not like here in Sweden. Yeah, functionally integrate, but I would never really be part of the culture because I wasn't raised in it. It wouldn't come absolutely reflexively naturally to me. Marku, if you move to Texas and start to speak American with a Dixie drawl, I'd say you fully integrated. Well, shit, son, if I start talking like this, we're all gonna be in trouble. Yeah, my girlfriend does like my voices. Prime says, stream it. I want blood, gore, and we'll bring popcorn. I'm going to assume that's for the death penalty one. Let's see here. Okay. A same-sex... English. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. Yes, banning porn is just a stupid idea. You don't get anywhere. You cannot legislate morality. It has to start from the family. It has to start in the house. It doesn't start in the House of Commons. It starts in the house. Yeah. I see that in chat. What goes on in the private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. I strongly agree. No one can feel naturally homosexual. I disagree. I think there is a degree of natural homosexuality. Openness about sex has gone too far. I strongly agree. And let's see where I stand. But before we do that, just to keep you guys in suspense, let's zip down here. Oh, excuse me. I'm not surprised about that result. Let's see here. Stormy figures I'm going to realize she's right. Little does she know how hard it is to get me to change my stance. Sasquatch says, luck exists, call it random chance, call it karma, but the things I've seen, luck is totally a thing with a sense of humor. Yeah, dark sense of humor. I won't say that there are no people who experience terrible misfortunes because of random chance. But the idea of luck is there's a certain supernatural aspect to it. I don't believe that there's necessarily a deity out there looking at each individual person and going, you get to win the lottery, you get fucked with cancer in the ass. I don't believe that. And let's have a look at my results here. Unsurprisingly, I came down on the fairly center right and fairly, well, barely libertarian and slightly right. This is roughly the area that I've usually been in. It's usually these 4 squares to either corner. I don't believe I've ever ended up in the libertarian left or the authoritarian left. But I've moved back and forth between authoritarian right and libertarian right a few times. I don't want a certificate. And that's quite the nose on that guy. I guess that's a caricature of Norman Evans. In any case, so let me see what you guys think. Nobody's saying anything in chat right at the moment, so I'm going to swing right on over to the eye side with. And yes, I do apologize for bludgeoning your eyes with a picture of Trudeau. But this is not the quiz I'm going to be taking. 2023. Yes, I agree. Okay, so should the federal government invest in urban commuter rail infrastructure? No. No, I don't think so. And for importance, I'm just going to leave these blank unless it's something that's very, very important to me. Should there be more restrictions? Fuck no. This is one of the most important. Are there other stances? Gun show loophole. There is no gun show loophole. Require strict background checks, psychological testing, and training. Increase penalties. Government should pass a national stand your ground law. That'd be nice. Can I select more than one? No, I can't. So I'll just stick with no. More stances submitted by users. Let's see what other people are saying about this. Absolutely friggin' nothing, apparently. Okay. So we'll leave it there. Should Aboriginals receive more government funds? No. Other stances. Give them their land back. That's funny. Aboriginals should be further compensated. Absolutely not. No, and we should slowly phase out funding. These integrated us into our society as citizens. Aboriginals should not receive any more funds until their accounting is reviewed by independent auditors. For those of you who don't know, it is not uncommon for a particular band or nation, whatever term they use for their communities, it's not particularly uncommon to see people in abject poverty where they're tearing their house apart indoors to get firewood, and yet the head of the band council will live like a prince. So yeah, I strongly believe these people should be integrated as citizens. It is time to end this. Essentially, it's a type of apartheid, in my opinion. They're not treated as full citizens. Should the federal government increase spending on healthcare? No. Other stances. More services should be privatized. Implement a 2-tier. There we go. At the very least, it should be 2-tier, public-private. Should there be more or less privatization? More privatization. What are other stances here? Government subsidies. Privatize the entire healthcare industry. There we go. And yes, I can hear people reeing about, oh, but that's bad in America. No, not if government has the good sense to get the fuck out of the way of business and let people actually make money. Should cities open drug safe havens where people who are addicted to illegal... No! What are you, retarded? Of course not. No, but legalize drugs. No, I don't think all drugs should be legal. Any more stances submitted? No. Okay, I don't think that link is working today. Do I support the use of nuclear energy? Yes. Other stances? Yes, with public subsidy. Nationalize the industry as long as there's no public subsidy. Temporarily? No, fuck off. No, we should invest in cleaner alternatives such as wind, hydroelectric, thorium. What the fuck do you think a thorium reactor is if it's not nuclear, you twits? Should the government allow TransCanada to expropriate private property for the construction of the Keystone Pipeline? No. No, I do not. Do not build the pipeline, but allow oil production in the tar sands. Do not build the pipeline. Okay, my stance on this. You should not allow a company to simply take private property from people. They can offer a fair price. They can keep offering a higher price until the landowner goes, yeah, okay. Or the company goes, that's not worth our investment, and builds around them. Should the government increase environmental regulations on businesses to reduce carbon emissions? No. Other stances, I'm sure one of these is going to be, are you retarded? No, get rid of it. No, global warming, natural occurrence. Current government is overregulating businesses. There we go. I'll just leave it at overregulating business because I don't want to run into the, oh, you're a climate denier bullshit. Should disposable products that contain less than 50% of biodegradable material be banned? No. No, they should not. Ban all disposable products that are not made of at least 75% degradable. No. Increase consumer incentives to recycle. No. Increasing the consumer incentive to recycle does not create more recycling areas. Increase tax incentives for companies that make biodegradable. No, we don't tax them harder. Or don't tax them less, I should say. Is there a single other stance? This is really irritating. There is not. Okay. How important is this one to me? We'll put this up at more. Do you support legalization of same-sex marriage? No. Well, hang on. Let's see what the other stances are. Allow churches the right to refuse. Civil unions, don't call it marriage. Take the government out of marriage, instead make it a religious decision. I like that one. Actually, I'm going to go back to civil unions, because then anybody can do it. You don't necessarily have to be religious. I like the idea of keeping the word marriage just for religious folks, but that's my opinion. My stance on abortion is pro-life. I don't oppose abortion for victims of rape and incest. Allow in cases of rape, incest, danger. Ban after the first 3 months. Don't agree, but the government has no right to ban it. Pro-choice. Yeah, no. Pro-choice, you can go to hell. Clearly, we've seen the effect of tolerance. Should gay couples have the same... No, they should not have the same rights. Same background checks. Gay couples should not be able to adopt children. I believe mother and father family structure is best for the child. I actually do. No. Okay. Foreign policy. Here we go. Do I support Bill C-51, which expands local and police? Of course not. And checking other stats. Slippery slope. Bill is too vague. We'll go with that one. Bill is too vague, and we'll put that in the most, because it's government interference in your life. Should Canada increase or decrease foreign aid? We should definitely decrease it. In fact, we should probably end it altogether. There we go. That's another good one here. Decrease and deny aid to countries that harbor or promote terrorism, but I'm going with we shouldn't be giving any foreign aid. Let's see. Should the government increase or decrease? It's pretty obvious we should increase our military spending. Any more stances? No, of course not. Okay, I'm just going to stop trying that one. That one's pretty important to me. Housing. Should the government subsidize home buyers who make less? No. No, the government should not be subsidizing anybody. Okay. Should the government impose a 1% tax on real estate owned by non-residents? No, it should be way higher. There we go. If you don't live in this country, fuck you. Should homeless individuals that have refused available shelter or housing be allowed to sleep or encamp on public property? No. If they're not paying taxes, they don't get a right to. I wouldn't make it a criminal offense, though. But if they're not paying taxes, and they're not, generally the homeless don't pay taxes. But if they're refusing to avail themselves of public funding programs, why would we let them live on public property? Immigration. Should the government enact a stricter immigration policy? Fuck yeah. We currently have too many immigrants. I don't think that's necessarily correct. But if we had the word illegal in here, yes. Make the process easier for skilled workers? No. Strictly screen immigrants? It's not working. Regularly review. Current policy is sufficient. The hell it is. Accept anyone who's not a violent criminal? Absolutely not. That means you take somebody who's committed fraud. Should Muslim immigrants be banned from entering the country until the government improves its ability to screen out potential terrorists? Yes. Call me Islamophobic. I don't care. Ban all immigration until the government improves its screening process. Should immigrants be deported if they commit a serious crime? Yes, immediately. No, I don't care if it's safe for them to return to their country. They came to a new country and fucked that up too. Yeah, no, straight up, yes. Hard line. Oh, and that is actually among the most important things. Should the government increase spending on public transport? No. That should be... we should reduce current spending. We should privatize. There we go. Should all public buses and trains run on electric power? No, of course not. Don't be idiotic. Batteries are just as harmful. That's not exactly true. We have more important issues that need funding. Not at all. Just focus on infrastructure. It's easy and cost-effective to replace. No. Should the government permit the use of drones for commercial purposes? Yes. Because I think it will be absolutely hilarious to watch people going out with shotguns and blowing Amazon packages out of the sky. Should funding for local police be redirected to... No. What are you, fucking retarded? We've seen how badly that worked. I'm very tempted to say yes and abolish the police, though. Oh, yeah, no, let's replace police with unarmed community-based responders for nonviolent calls. Oh, God. And, of course, there are no more... Yeah, okay. I'll leave it at no, because I think a police force, if we're going to be stuck with one, they should at least be equipped and capable. Should prisoners serving life sentences for first degree be eligible for parole hearing after 15 years? Other stances. It really depends on the circumstances. For example, if it was Gary Plauché, I'd say no, he shouldn't even be in jail in the first place. If it was Jeffrey Dahmer, absolutely not. He should have been strung up rather than imprisoned. More rehabilitation programs. I do like the idea of rehabilitation, but the problem is you have to have a society that's willing to allow people to say that they've paid their debt. We don't currently have one of those. So I'm going to say no. Should police departments be allowed to use military-grade equipment? Yes. Because the fucking criminals don't give a shit. Should politicians over 75 years of age have required to pass? I think whoever wrote this question should be required to pass a mental competency test. Yes. Other stances. Politicians of any age. Yeah, that's not a bad choice. Our government needs experienced leaders. Yeah, like guys who've been in fucking Senate and politics for 40 plus years and haven't accomplished anything. Yeah, let's go with that. It discriminates against older politicians. Well, we should also discriminate against the childless. Should a politician who has been formally convicted of a crime be allowed to run for office? Depends on the crime. Yeah, they should have at least finished their sentence. As long as it was not a felony, violent, financial, or sexual crime. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, if someone has served their sentence, they deserve a chance to rejoin society. Should foreigners currently residing in Canada have the right to vote? Yes. No, of course not. Are you retarded? No, just because they lived in the country for 10 years doesn't mean they're citizens who have the right to vote. And the same for paying taxes. No, you still don't get the right to vote. You need to be a citizen. Local elections, maybe. But yeah, I'm only legal citizens should be allowed to vote. Sorry. Should the government forgive? No, you made the choice. I can't believe this is even an option, but only for Canadian citizens. Only for low income? No. Forgive all student loan debt. Fuck. Load. Yeah, somebody didn't actually, achieve their potential. Only for students with excellent grades. Actually, that's not a bad choice. Because if you give somebody the incentive to actually do well, but I think it would be students with excellent grades who actually go on to use those programs, to use the knowledge they pick up. Okay, should post-secondary education be a provincial or federal responsibility? Government should not be involved in education. Yeah, that's the based response, I think. Do I support independent schools? Yes. Non-profit, not at the expense of funding public schools. Entire education system should be privatized. Private schools do tend to have better outcomes. Oh yeah, let's increase teacher wages, because those guys aren't paid enough as it is. Yeah, I think the entire system should be privatized. I'll go with more on that one, too. Should the government tax stock buybacks? I'm looking at the other stances because I'm not exactly sure what a stock buyback would be. I have an idea, but I'm wondering if it's the government that does it. Obviously not. Never mind. Pension funds and mutual funds. There is no evidence that firms that engage in buybacks reduce their investments. I think the government taxes too many things. Let's go with that. That's least important, though. Should the government ban junk fee surcharges tacked onto cons? Oh, fuck, yes. What else have we got? Yeah. We'll just go with yes on that one. Should Canada raise taxes on the rich? No. And abolish income tax, disallow all deductions, increase sales tax. Seems fair. I like flat tax, personally. Lower income tax rate, remove all existing tax loopholes. No. I think a flat tax, and that's more important. Okay, since I've been at this for a while, I'll go back to chat for a bit. I see Trim is in. Hi, Trim. Nice to see you. Let's put my pretty face back on screen. Hiya. Let's see. Marku, I was about to apply for a student visa in the U.S. just when the pandemic happened. Every country locked down. If that ain't shitty luck, I don't know what is. Yeah. I was in the middle of doing my trade, and what should have been a 9-month course ended up taking almost 15. So, and I still can't find a job. Sasquatch says he's a pig farmer's son, married old money, met at an abandoned cabin nowheresville because she got lost and the flat tire was only there for the weed drive. You really need to write your life story. And if you haven't seen it, you should go watch Weird, the Al Yankovic story, because I think you could take notes. Let's see. Marku says he even had the money for the tuition saved up. Oh, that fucking sucks. Trim popped in. Hi, Trim. Marku, drone hunting. Now, there's an activity I could get behind, especially if I get some cool and expensive shit out of it. Right? Who needs to be a pirate when you can just walk out the door and blow something out of the sky and go, hey, Amazon's here, kids. Marku's been posting a nom kit in the armory and Sultans. let me see. Stormy, yeah. Can you go to the Discord, the Sultans Discord, and post the invite link in chat, please? You know how to find it? When you go into the Discord, it'll be the top of the page. Well, when you get there, just show me and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's see. Namkit. Pretty. Thought you might like it. Students with excellent grades with the right opinions. Yeah, that's the issue. The right opinions is a bit of a challenge. And...
What Discord? Yours?
No, Sultans.
Sultans?
Yeah. There's no point in sending anybody to mine. There's almost nothing in there.
Okay, Sultans.
Yeah, Sultans Discord. At the top, there's those 3 dots on the left side. Click that. That should be where your invite link is. Should say the word invite there somewhere. Click invite, click copy, and then just post it in the chat, please. I'd like to thank my lovely assistant for helping me today. Okay, what are we looking at for time? Getting there, okay. Let's get this done. How would I describe my level of trust in our country's politicians compared to a year ago? Oh god, it doesn't get much lower, but... Yeah, what do you expect your level of trust? Probably lower again. How would you describe level of trust in our country's legal system? Well, given the result of the political inquiry recently, yeah, it's just going to keep getting worse. What qualities are most important to you in a candidate? Let's see. Integrity, common sense, honesty, vision, consistency. I would say morality, but it's really kind of stupid to expect a politician to be moral. Well, it's only the truth, right? Let's see. Okay. So, there's my voting results coming in. And, yeah. So, I've got about 15 minutes or so left. So, I'm going to give you guys a choice between 3 here. And I'll just go randomly to this page here. So, I'll go back to the Political Compass page. Bring up my bookmark list and show it to you guys. So, give me a 1, 4, 6 triangles. Oh, okay, you guys can't actually see that. Sorry. So I've got 6 triangles, the Pew Research Political Typology Quiz, or Idiosorter. And I'm kind of intrigued by Idiosorter, so if you guys are interested in me doing that one, let me know. I'll just bring that one up real quick. So let's see here. There's my results. No thanks, I don't wish to share your quiz. Apparently I'm libertarian. Or conservative. Slightly Rhinoceros Party. For those of you who don't know who the Rhinoceros Party is, it's worth reading. Let's see here. Okay, no. Let me just bring up the Rhinoceros Party. They were a bit of a joke party years ago. I don't know if they still are. Let's see. So that's the Rhinoceros Party. Canadian federal level political party known as neorhino.ca until 2010. The party changed its name, registering a new party logo. Let's see. It was founded by a guy named Yo. So, okay. Well, his last name was Gord. Yo Gord. So, yeah, operating within the traditional political satire, the Rhinoceros Party's basic credo, their so-called primal promise, was a promise to keep none of our promises. So at least we finally have honest politicians. Excuse me. Their leader was Cornelius I, who was a black rhinoceros at the Granby Zoo in Quebec. This says they were founded by Jacques Ferron. This isn't exactly correct. This is the old Rhinoceros Party. So the current Rhinoceros Party was founded by Francois Yogord. The leader is Sébastien Courreneau. Of course, there's no link or anything, so it's not really worth bothering with. So we'll just have a quick look at their homepage. Oh, we would like to do that in English. And that is Parti Rhinoceros, or Rhinocero. We have not forgotten that Justin Trudeau broke his promise to make the 2015 election the last under first past the post. Today, everyday people remain frustrated with the archaic and out-of-touch political system. So these guys are actually being a little bit serious. So that's cool. Do they in fact have a Twitter page? Let's have a look at them on Twitter. Oh, that's him. Do they have... No. Okay. I'm not that interested in following just one guy. And I see I have a couple of notifications. I'll go back to those later. Let's see. Okay, Stormy was nice enough to post the Discord link. Thank you very much, Stormy. Prime says he wouldn't trust them to hold the door for him. Marku says, trust the government in 2023. Are you high? Trims Art Check says, just wait, it will show Trudeau. I think he meant to say Trudeau, but anyway. Give him a bit of a hard time about his typos. Marku says he wouldn't trust the government to take care of a plastic houseplant. Fair. Bezic says I need to report to my nearest commissar for reprogramming. So what does the Libertarian Party believe? Should teachers be allowed to carry guns at school? No, hire professionally trained security guards instead. I could agree with that. Stance on abortion, pro-choice, fuck you. Should the government be able to monitor phone calls and emails? No. Should the government increase funding for mental health research and treatment? Yes. But only increase funding for personalized care instead of subsidizing? Yes. Should prescription drugs be covered? No. If you're going to have a universal healthcare plan, you might as well make it actually universal. Yes, that means increased taxes, but it also means actual increased care. Trim says these guys are dedicated to the meme. The original party definitely was. We had some really hilarious parties, actually. We used to have a pirate party. And they've been deregistered, which means they're basically no longer... Either there's not enough membership or they've actually gone defunct. But pirate politics is a label adopted by political parties around the world. Pirate parties support civil rights, direct democracy, or alternatively, participation in government, reform of copyright and patent law, free sharing of knowledge, information privacy. Yeah, basically these guys were net neutrality meme lords. And, yeah. I will point this out. I love how Wikipedia describes populism as a range of political stances that emphasize the idea of, quote, the people, and often juxtapose this group against, quote, the elite. Populism is for everybody, elites and people alike, if you're running it smart. Frequently associated with anti-establishment, anti-political sentiment. No, that's very wrong. But, you know, it's Wikipedia. What do you expect? Do they support legalization of same-sex marriage? Yes. Background checks, yeah. Should every 18-year-old citizen be required to provide at least 1 year of military service? I say yes. These guys say no. Service should be a choice instead of an obligation. No, that's not how it works. In a civilized society that you want to keep civilized, make everybody develop a stake in the society surviving. That's my opinion. Let's see here. So, I've got about 10 minutes left. I don't know how long it's going to take to do the idiosorter one. But Trim says Norway has Pirat Partiet. No idea if they are serious or not. I expect they're probably dedicated to the same ideas of net neutrality and net non-regulation. But it's also interesting that... Now, I'm going to assume that this is asking if private property should be deregulated. So I will say yes. Apparently I'm a distributist. What's a distributist? Third way, free market, center-right ideology. Let's have a look at distributism real quick. And if you guys have questions for me, throw them in now. Economic theory asserting that the world's productive assets should be widely owned rather than concentrated. That sounds strange. Oh god, Christian democracy? Catholic teaching? Yeah, no. I don't think I would be a distributist. Economic theory asserting that the world's productive assets should be widely owned rather than concentrated. Laissez-faire capitalism, state socialism. Oh god, no. I'm definitely not a distributist. And since we're talking about political ideologies, I will talk about the one that's been fascinating me the most lately, monarcho-capitalism. Let's see, oh, that's anarcho-capitalism, and definitely not an ANCAP. Monarcho-capitalism. Okay, so just to find one that gives a good definition might be a challenge, especially considering these guys clearly aren't all that serious. And long live the monarchy and money is a brutal simplification. School of thought, Islamic capitalism. Oh, that's variations. Okay, so it is an economically right-wing, moderately statist, and culturally... moderately statist? It's monarchism, you twits. It doesn't get more statist than monarchism. A culturally variable ideology that is in the right center part of the compass. It believes that a capitalist economic system is able to function the best with a monarch at the head of the state. I would agree. This either means him intervening in the market to keep completely fair competition, or because a monarchy is able to ensure the protection of the free market capitalist system with more stability than other governance systems. It can also be seen as a system which proposes a ceremonial monarchy within a capitalist system, similar to England. No offense to anybody who happens to be English, but I'm not really great about that. Let's see here. Give some examples. Russia, the Tsarist Russia, I assume. Leopold II of Belgium, Congo Free State. Is Christopher in? Pahlavi, Iran. Is that immediately? Yeah. I believe this is not immediately prior to the revolution. 1941. The White Revolution, which he privatized state-owned companies. Smart. Nationalized some industries. Not so smart. Abolished feudalism. Exactly how do these guys define feudalism? In democracy, it's your vote that counts. In feudalism, it's your count that votes. It kind of slides into some of my ideas. Authoritarian, decentralized. Feudalism can't be decentralized. You're concentrating authority in a single individual, or a single group of tiered individuals. That's clearly not decentralized. Let's see. Used to be based on holding all land in fee for fee, and the resulting relation of lord to vassal. It was characterized by homage, legal and military service of tenants, and forfeiture. Lords provided some of the lands in exchange for their support. Vassals generally were required to serve guard duty, and later they paid a fee to acquire mercenaries. In exchange for protection, land to work, and a place to live, peasants provided the lord with labor and a share of the produce or livestock yielded from his lands. And I'm being signaled at. What's up? Technical difficulties, one moment. Oh, did he say that in chat?
No, Discord.
Oh, for God's sakes, Trim. Trim, if you have a question to ask, by all means ask. You're not currently modded, which is retarded. I should have modded you long before this. Let me see if I can. I can't mod you from in there. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll get you modded, Trim. And yes, you can absolutely link your stuff to my stuff. I don't mind. Let me see here. Is that going to come up loud? No, okay. Trim, there we are. Trim, you are now moderated. Enjoy your wrench. And be aware that I expect you to use your newfound power for nothing but the worst possible uses. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and link your stream, Trim. That's the Scribble Shack. Is that tomorrow? Today?
5 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but oh yeah, that's right. Because they were starting it right on top of my stream. Okay, I definitely have to get out of here in 5 minutes then. Let me see. Unfortunately, Trim, I also won't be able to join you guys because I'm going to be driving. But I will pop in as soon as I get where I'm going. Okay, let's see here. Scroll back through chat. Yogurt. I don't respect that man enough to care about his name. Okay. Oh, yeah, Pirat Partiat. I don't think he's masculine enough to be referred to as anything with man in it. True, there aren't any other way to describe him without delving into Tumblr words. Cockroach, rat. That's offensive to the roaches and the rats. They at least have uses. Rats are good for carrying disease and feeding cats. That's pretty much about it. Roaches, I think they have even less uses. Let's see. Trim, you're not allowed to use the N-word in my chat. It's what Rumble's for. Yeah, so anyway, folks, if you've got questions to ask, now is the time. Meanwhile, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping on my desktop. Oh, I just remembered something. There is a certain young lady today who is having her 13th birthday. This is Stormy's little one, and she was actually nice enough to make me quite a few things back during... Let me just get that sorted properly. Back during when we first got together, I was getting ready to do the Remembrance Day stream, and she made me a poppy with a 3D printer pen. Yeah, which absolutely fascinates me, and I want one now. Of course, recently she's gotten more into these things. These are Pix Bricks, I think they're called. And she's nice enough to make me a very happy little hamster, I think. Rabbit? I'll have to ask her when I get there. And this little guy, which this little guy actually sits right up here in a nice prominent position where he keeps watch over me and keeps me happy. So, to the girl who knows who her name is, and I won't say on stream, happy birthday. And I will see you soon. Let's see what else is going on. Drive safe, thanks, Trim. So, we've got about 2 minutes or so left, and I've got a very cold coffee to drink. As you can tell, I love coffee when it's cold. Quiet, you.
Utter lies and bullshit.
Utter lies and bullshit, yep. So let's see. Okay, yeah, so if you guys have questions, now is the time. I'm going to be... What's going on? Oh, your response to Trim? Yeah. What's this wee pale face I'm driving?
What do you mean, pale face? Really? Like, don't
It's-
let me come over and smack you.
It's called a joke, honey. I'm getting a couple of fingers from across the room. No, they're not on the same hand. When's the gun stream going to be? We're trying to get it scheduled. It's really dependent on when Beach and Blezik. Bleach and Bezic. Quiet, you. It's really dependent on when we can all get together and have an hour and a half, 2 hours to get together. Earl says don't let her drive. Earl, you're getting the dirty look now. And I always drive safe. I make sure the gun is pointed directly ahead. Anyway, folks, I'm coming up on the end of it. So, in order to catch my buddy Trim's stream, Marku asks, I know Trim likes it. This is going to be the last question. I know Trim likes it, but what's your opinion about my non-kit in the Armory chat? I'm going to have to go have a look at it. If that's the one with... I don't remember exactly, but I think that's the one with the coyote pouch on it. I haven't really taken a good long look at it, but I'll have a look and see what I think. And this is still the second worst porn you've ever seen. Awesome. Okay, guys, I am out of here. Earl says if I don't look into her eyes, that's not a dirty look. Winning. Okay, guys, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you continue to have good days. And as always,